Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tono Wilson. I'm here to talk to you about an application called ChatSTL. Working in the nonprofit arena, one thing that I found very difficult is navigating all the resources and finding out where to get them. Like, you got the HUD and EGI maps, you got STL.mo.gov, you got all these different resources. And I was like, why isn't there just a landing page for all these different resources in one place that was easy to navigate? And that was the impetus to ChatSTL.ai. Next slide. Okay, so as I had already previously stated, the problem was, to me, accessibility of the information. Be able to find all the information that you would either get from a resource similar to AGIS, LRA information, resources for mental health, hospitals, neighborhood associations, who is your neighborhood improvement specialist. Like, that's something that I think a lot of people don't even readily understand or know. And I want to be able to put all those resources in one area instead of having it scattered apart in 3 different websites. The problem is detailed. I talked about how different residents, visitors, small businesses struggle with navigating and getting to the different information on the different websites, how there's a gap and there's lack of visibility. And then also I wanted to make sure that tourism, or the idea of pride in St. Louis, was embodied. I think there's a lot of great places in St. Louis that could be better invested in, and they don't know about a lot of the opportunities, similar to things like maybe even that Pitch STL would offer. So, solution. It's a website, basically ChatSTL.ai. On this website is going to be a hub for all of the different resources, namely in St. Louis, from HUD resources, BHR resources, different things they can get here on an interactive map. So they were telling me that this was a $1 billion opportunity. I know that's definitely an inflated number. Originally, it was more of a fun product. I started on the project with a good friend of mine, James Hill, at a Lambda, and it was more so something that we were doing out of just love and wanting to connect everybody. But going forward, what actually was going to be my ask was more so for infrastructure and marketing, and I wanted the tool to hopefully remain something that's accessible for everybody. So the product architecture, like I said, it's a website that me, myself, Mayor, and James Hill manage. It provides access to a lot of different features. One of the features that I was really excited about is it has like a little floating AI here that you just ask questions about St. Louis. We hadn't really ironed it all the way out, but I'm going to actually do a demo of the website later. So why now? I think that there's definitely a paradigm shift for big data and for AI, especially in St. Louis. I think there's an overwhelming fear, I think, surrounding artificial intelligence, but I feel like artificial intelligence and LRA mapping combined together can provide a suite of services that is quintessential for all businesses across St. Louis. I think the way that I originally wanted to tier it was it being a tiered service for businesses, but remaining free for maybe people that just want to access resources. So if it was somebody like, say, that was going through a mental health crisis and they were trying to find out like what's the closest BHR crisis center to them, what are housing resources, those different tools I want to be free. Everything else I want to be maybe subscription based. So if it was a business that was looking for angel investors or grant opportunities, or somebody using the land reuse authority to reinvest in neighborhoods, that being a subscription model. I skipped the slide, dang. So, but now you go to the next one. I should have been looking at it. It was the one before this, the subscription, the breakdown. Go back, yep. So, software as a service, I definitely wanted it to be subscription model for the businesses, but for people that weren't businesses, I wanted the tool to be free. So anybody that were just using this tool to access either clothing opportunities, mental health opportunities, food resources, shelters, things for doulas, those tools and access to certain resources would be free. But if it was anything where it was business related, that would be the software as a service, and it would be different tiers. So go-to-market strategy, we were planning on doing a soft launch this August for the website. The tiering packages weren't going to be available or accessible until, I think he said December, but most of the resources for, like the free resources, are actually actively already available on the site. And from there, we hadn't actually decided where we wanted to pivot. I'd already been in conversations with Mr. Fitzgerald at NGA, and he was kind of helping me from just a loving consulting aspect, and I definitely truly appreciate him. Next. So when I started looking up other tools that provide similar services to mapping and doing something similar, I found that there was a lot of different gaps. Outside of this, I know that they do have a tool through Geospatial and AGIS that comprehensively does a lot that's similar, but the unique feature about ours, or that kind of niche that I want to kick in, is we have like an AI tool that you can talk to that goes through the whole service. So instead of, say for instance, if you were on like stlouismo.gov and you were looking at the EGI map, you couldn't just say, is my house in the EGI center, or who's in the QCT? Like different random questions, you have to really figure out how to pry and do a lot of heavy data analytics to answer these questions, whereas I'm providing a lot of AI services that helps you navigate those questions. Next. So different tractions and milestones that I was hoping to reach is basically getting like small business administration and SMB involvement. That was, like I said, for the paid and premium tiers of the application. I hadn't really ironed out specifically what I wanted to do in that regard, but that was where I was headed. You go next slide again, Robbie. For right now, it's been a project with just me. I'm involving two of my close friends, Mayor and James, and we're trying to branch out and really hone in on what the premium version of this is going to look like. And then last slide for me.
Here's the last slide.
Oh, I didn't add the other one. So it was one that just said thank you after that.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. No, I was going to say thank you.
You didn't
after that.
No, you did ads.
I did not do the ads.
Do ads.
So for the premium feature for seed funding, what I was going to ask was $500,000, and that was the breakdown for the use of how I wanted to do it. Most of it would be going toward creating a better AI model for when people engage with the map. And actually, I did want to actually show the actual site. Thank you.
You get it. Yeah, show us the site.
This is cool.
It's very cool.
I want it to be. There we go. Can you bring here? Like this?
That's what it's doing. It's supposed to be.
It's coming right here.
This area.
Well, no, but I mean, like, come right here.
You're too far west.
3140 Cass. 3140 Cass. 63103.
Okay, we lost you.
Yep. It's gone.
It's.
Well, while you're working on that, I will give you a piece of advice. Never do a digital presentation you haven't gone over 10 times.
Even just record a video of you going through all the key points, like having that software demo
Yeah.
ready to go and to roll out or to attach to an email is super impactful.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question, and then I can tee it up for Joe while you're working on getting it set up. How do you plan on getting this out to people and spreading the word
So,
and making people aware that some
I
tool like this
actually have
exists?
a very extensive contact list I've been working on mainly for this project.
Sweet.
And I was going to use Constant Contact to use a mass blast to
Yeah.
see different, get it beta tested through different personal friends of mine. Like I have almost 4,000 contacts that are professionals and entrepreneurs in the geospatial space.
Yeah.
So after getting my associates from Geospatial, NGA, and T-Rex to kind of give me insight, I was going to follow up with other people in the same contact list and pivot from there.
Okay. Just mass email blast marketing?
Yes, sir.
My suggestion there, the only suggestion there is phone call is always quicker than an email. And then email, and then email until they reply.
I think half my job is deleting emails.
Yeah, for sure.
People
Deleting
emails, you know.
And it makes it feel more personal. Hey, I've got this new tool. You're a consummate professional in the geospatial world, and really wanting your thoughts on what you think about it. You got 15 minutes to play around with it and give me some feedback. Doesn't have to be anything salesy. Let them fall in love with it, but that feels more
Genuine.
That feels
authentic,
more
than
genuine,
actually
yes,
like
than just
Yeah.
feeling like you got sent in a mass email.
Or a quick text message,
For sure.
you know. Thanks for being in my contacts. I have this cool system for finding out where stuff is in St. Louis. Click the link and beta test it for me.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. You know,
Yeah.
people love, like I said, people love to give their opinion on things, you know, whether they're
Yeah.
qualified or not, they love to give their opinion. And while you're still working on that, I'll give, so the structure of your presentation is pretty good. There's too much verbiage up there.
I was reading
I
a lot.
found I was reading a lot. You don't want me reading. You want me looking at you, focused on you, you know, everybody. And when I start to read, you can have bullet points, but you had a bullet point and then you had like, you know, a ton of verbiage with it. Just have a bullet point and then you talk. Now when you're sending this deck to someone, have the verbiage there. But when you're just presenting, have a bullet point and then you talk over the bullet point. So we're always on you, because it's just human nature that if my eyes start wandering, my brain's gonna say, oh, he's not that interesting. Even if you are, that's what my brain's gonna tell me, oh, I'm more interested in this reading because he's boring. It's just the way that's the way our brains think, you know, it's not fair, but it's the way our brains go. So the structure of it, it's like, hey, we have this you know, like all this information, but nowhere to gather it. Where I wanted to ask you a question is, and I don't know, are small to medium businesses going to use this, or is this better almost to?
Yes, they are going to use it.
Okay.
So the interesting pivot is what I was created for was for the nonprofit space, and then for like a free tool.
Mhm.
I didn't think about even using it in a business atmosphere until like James, Mike Fitzgerald, and a couple other colleagues were like, man, that would make sense for both. So I don't know, it's been a philosophical debate back and forth on
Yeah.
what the
Yeah, I mean, restaurants can use it to pull in customers, but agencies can use it to provide services.
And I think the data you're going to be aggregating, I mean, I hate to say, also, you know, there's also a lot of selling of data. That's what, if you're raising money, someone's gonna say that to you. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna monetize all the information you have? Well, all the queries you're gonna look through, and so they're gonna ask you that. And
My
so either you say
follow-up
we're
is
not
the
doing
exact same
it,
thing.
they say we're not doing it,
Mhm.
or this is how we're gonna do it, this is how we're gonna
and
keep
figuring
it,
out how to do it
anonymized.
ethically and navigate it.
Yeah.
I guess that was the thing for me, because I mean, well, we got a TSL license and everything for the site, and then also we weren't planning on monetizing the data or trying to do the Facebook and like, all right, okay, we got all this information about this, you know, what is it worth? It was more so all in-house holistically, not necessarily to be outsourced. But like I said, those are still philosophical debates
Oh, yeah,
me and
right,
my friends
yeah.
have been having.
Or you could tease them and say, we have it all, we could. But that is strictly against our morals and the dollar value you guys have. I'm totally
I like
with you, like
I like
I'm
that.
super against that, like morally and
Because
philosophically.
I mean, and I feel like when it becomes one of those things, it ends up limiting accessibility. Like,
Totally. My follow-up
know.
question is right along the same lines, which is your $200 billion
Mhm.
total market was under the advertisement classification. And, you know, we've seen how Google has their sponsored recommendations. We've seen how ChatGPT is recommending people based on AI SEO. Do you have any desire to do that with this? How are you going to prevent the sort of encrapification that comes out of a platform if you...
That's a technical
Actually,
term.
no, I got you.
Yeah,
I'm hip. So I'd actually been researching since.
Just curious where your thoughts are, really.
No, I hadn't thought about it until, is it Adam? Was it Adam that was doing the tool where he had like that